little intimate setting here. We thought we'd sit around the fireplace and talk a little bit.
Welcome back, Arthur.
Yeah, it looks great like this. You were perfectly on time, Dave.
Good. Yeah.
I want to make sure people agree with the 6 points. So yeah, make sure you do a poll at the end to see for right or wrong.
It's great. We really want to take advantage of having these two pillars of media with us and get their perspective on some of the trends that we're seeing today in the media industry, and thought it would benefit. And Arthur, there's about 1,000 people in this room, just to give you a sense. So it's an incredible view from here.
Oh, no, I know, it's amazing. And by the way, you said it, but thank you so much to everyone for being there, and thank you for our sponsor. This means a lot. This is a fantastic event. Congrats.
It's fantastic. So I'll jump right in. So given the increase in emphasis on data-driven strategies, how do you see brands leveraging data to inform their media planning and investment decisions?
Well, Arthur was introduced as a media expert, which has never happened before, Arthur. So I don't know if you want to answer that, or I know it's very. He must be he's so happy because we've pitched so many times together.
Suppose I take the question.
Yeah, go ahead, Arthur.
Okay.
You go ahead.
By the way, I come from a creative background, so and I discovered media late. But we were in a business where in the past you were Omnicom, Publicis, or WPP. It was Creative Plus. I think that now we have moved to a model that is way more media plus, okay? And data is the heart. And if you ask me, the only reason why we did the Epsilon acquisition, that has been a very big and tough time for us, because we put like 5 billion on the table at the moment where the company was doing like this, and where shareholder was telling us, you need to buy back your share, you don't need to make an investment. The reason why we did it, which comes back to your question, Santi, is because we thought our clients need to take back control on their data and relationship with the customer, and they can't leave that to the walled garden. For a very simple reason that, by the way, not to do any name dropping, but I explained again to Bernard Arnault, who own LVMH, Dior, brand that are so part of who we are in France. The data goodwill of every company will be soon, will worth more than the brand goodwill. The way you will understand customer, your ability to connect at an individual level with the media landscape, fueled with great content, and then make sure that you look at investment and compare it with business outcome is the future of marketing. And if you don't get the data, you won't be able to do it. If I want to be a bit provocative, I will tell you that the first thing that matters the most is the data, and then the quality of the work and how you bring the brand value. But this is how you can put brand frame at the service of business.
That's fantastic. Thank you. I think you're an expert in media, Arthur, so I don't know what Dave was talking about. But
Thank you. Thank you.
So, second question, how are brands and companies evolving their influencer marketing strategies to align with the changing preferences of consumers, particularly Gen Z, the Zenlennials? It's more segmented than ever.
Yeah, obviously they should be using influential is the first thing they should do. So I'm not sure if we've said that enough yet, but it's
That's also the second thing they should do.
The second thing, okay, good. And I think that certainly what we look at it is as the changing media landscape. I mean, the idea that you used to be able to run 3 TV spots and you could reach half the country doesn't exist anymore. And you start looking at where we need to follow where the consumers are following. We need to look at where our consumers, especially our younger consumers, are actually consuming content. We need to follow that content. And if you think about where we were when I started at Publicis, it's now 25 years. The largest thing was newspapers. The largest media at Publicis 25 years ago, the largest global media spend was newspapers. I think that was 25 years ago. 20 years ago, newspapers was still the largest media spend at Publicis. So if you think about what happened from newspapers and going forward, we're just following the consumers. And I actually think it's a structure that we continue to do. I think the 2 places that we're going to really help clients in 2 ways. One, making sure we're matching up with the right influencer for our customers. Second, making sure we're tracking that and tracking it in the same way that we track media today, we track CRM today, and make sure that those things are connected. The connection is really where the importance is. And then finally, that what is the right messaging and the right way from a creative standpoint to deliver that content. It's not the same delivery as a 30-second TV spot. It's not the same as a print ad or an outdoor billboard. So those are the things that I think that we're going to be helping clients and really work on, is that connection with influencers and connecting in that environment.
It's fantastic. So in light of evolving privacy landscape, how are companies prioritizing their first-party data and building a strong customer relationship in the process?
you want to go first or me first, Arthur?
I think I'm the least expert in first-party data in the entire room with 1,000 people in the room, but I'm going to give you my version.
Okay, great.
Which is, by the way, what I said to every CEO that I'm meeting, is the reason why first-party data is so important apart from privacy is basically threefold. The ability we have now, and this is what you said, Dave, to understand not only customer but prospect is huge. And for every company in the room, growth is a challenge today. I think we're going to go through tough time, and your ability to go to your organization and demonstrate that you know where your growth is makes a big difference. The second thing that will play against us in a way, but also we want to lead that, is that it's thanks to first parties that we're going to be able to find the right balance between paid media and owned media. And there is no doubt that the clients that are being the most successful at the moment with us are the ones that find the right balance between both and are able to use their paid, thanks to identity, to actually nourish their own ecosystem. And the last point is what you said at the beginning, Santi, which is amazing, is that now we know that when we invest X, we get Y in terms of business outcome. Mm-hmm. And when you start to go to a board, for example, with this kind of demonstration, you will see your marketing budget rising. And this is what we believe, I guess, all in this room, is that marketing drive growth and profitable growth as long as you do it well. And first party is essential into this model.
That's fantastic. Next question. So how can brands and companies better align their performance marketing efforts with the broader business objectives?
Yeah, I guess it's interesting, and this is something that we sometimes joke about internally, but I think it's important. We started the Power of One when Arthur became CEO almost 10 years ago. And what was interesting, we had this term of no solos, no silos, no bozos. And I think that statement 10 years ago.
And we fired a lot of bozos, by the way.
Yeah, we did. We have a couple left, but yeah.
We can see a PR competition in front page.
And I think that the companies that are able to remove these silos faster, and to not allow people to work in a solo environment. I was in a number of meetings over the last few days, and very often you start listening to the challenges. So many of our challenges are self-inflicted when we say, we're actually, this group's doing this is another group's doing this, and that's how our budgets work. And I think we often make the excuse of the bureaucracy of our clients and say, well, that's how they're set up. It's a different budget. And we're bidding against each other, and we see this in auto with the 3 tiers of auto. We see this across different verticals. You talk a lot about verticals that you're sitting there, you're meeting with a CEO or a CMO or whatever it would be, and you're like, yeah, this is how we do it. And so I think that if I was giving a client advice on this, that the number one thing is to break down those silos where we're all acknowledging that it's not working.
Right.
We know that we need to, the CRM of today is very different than the CRM 10 years ago. How we're looking at even media, which was always considered this whole funnel. We know the funnel doesn't work, and why are we still then practicing funnel activities? We know that this is a problem, and we're still doing it. So I think that the more you can push internally from an advertiser standpoint, and often from a partner standpoint, well, that's not how we do it. We don't share it this way, and I think that's something that we need to break down those silos internally, and making sure from a budget ownership standpoint, what's actually driving the revenue, what's actually driving the outcome, and how do we better align those to an overall number. It's not about what always worries me when I meet with someone. I said, our team right now is 100 people. We're trying to grow to 500 people. I go, why? Well, that should not be your target. It's not the number of people. Very often we have this mentality. So I think it's something that we need to do a better job of. I think in this industry, I think you guys are actually more accountable than most of the other groups that we have. But inside of your organizations, up through your CMO organizations, up through your sales organizations, are we really being fully accountable? I guess probably what I'd focus on.
Love it. So this will be our last question. I want to thank you both again for joining us. This has been very insightful. I know we are all going to benefit from the insights, but as the last question, looking ahead, what do you think are the biggest challenges and opportunities you see for the media industry?
Go ahead, sir.
If you, I'm going to add one point and then I'll let you close. I mean, and it's really on AI. I think AI is an opportunity for the media industry if we use it well. I mean, we said it clearly. I think it's time to remove the BS out of AI. Mm-hmm. And I will leave the audience with what we think is core if we want to be successful. First, it's about the data. And everyone who comes to see you, to talk to you about AI that can't help you building and enriching your data in the proper way is just a waste of time. Second is what Dave said, and again, it's the experience I'm having with the people I'm meeting, which is, I mean, technology and data are easier than breaking the silos. This is the most difficult thing. And I'm kidding about that, but it's serious. This is where we have the most difficulty, and this is where we see most of the companies struggling. So you need the data, but you also need the single infrastructure. And then if you bring the engineer culture, then we believe for the media, for the creative, for the content industry in general, everything that has to do with marketing, then AI could be a great leverage. But maybe, Dave, you will have another answer to that.
No, I think that absolutely, I was going to say, it was quite my previous answer was on the silos. The breakdown of silos, I think the other thing that we would talk about, if I thought of one thing that's a challenge for us outside of things we've already spoken about, is platform creativity. I think that one of the things we've seen, if you think about 10 years ago when you meet with Meta or you meet with Google, there was amazing creativity in the platforms. And it's actually become very much a transactional relationship. So I think as you start thinking about how do we bring creativity back to this, I don't mean creativity from a creative standpoint of this advertising, how it looks, but how we start bringing back from a technology standpoint, more creativity, where it's not paying a higher CPM you paid last year. How are we looking at, how do we start structuring deals differently? How do we look at measurement differently? How do we work within the walled gardens in a much more creative way than we do today? And I think that, certainly we talked about Google and Meta for a long time. I think Amazon now is in a very unique position from a Prime Video standpoint, now with the NBA, with the NFL, with their massive retail media footprint. Those are the players that, then how do you work inside and be creative with those three will be very dependent on how you then grow your business in an exponential way. I know we have a number of Amazon products here today.
Yep.
I think that we can't say enough about the importance of Amazon in terms of driving results.